Good morning. Today is the last day, day 4 of these mini trainings, but I'm excited to share with you that I have so much more to go deeper with you guys on, all about turning your passions to profits, all about making money doing what you love. And yeah, I'm excited to share more about that today. But first, we'll get into the mini training all about empathy. Um, so really quick before we dive into that, I just wanted to say thank you for everyone who has stuck with me through the error with the email list and not getting day 2 out. And then I got day 2 out, and then for whatever reason, the link isn't working. I really have no idea why that's not working, but the good news is that I have a solution, and all of the video trainings will be available to watch all together. You can access them all at once today, and so there shouldn't be any issues at all, and you'll be able to, you can just go right down the list, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can share them with your friends or anyone who you think might benefit from watching them. So again, thank you for riding this wave with me and figuring all of this out and being patient, because this is a new process for me, as I've mentioned before. And I'm just so glad that I'm here with you and I'm doing this, and that you guys are that excited and want to watch the videos. I was telling my husband about this morning, and he's like, well, the good news is that you have people who are eager to watch these videos, and they're letting you know that the links aren't working, whereas it could be the flip side where nobody really cares and they're not letting you know. So that's the good news, is that what I have to say and what I'm sharing with you guys is being heard, and it's making a difference. So I'm really grateful for that, and I'm so happy to know that it's valuable to you guys. So on with day 4, all about empathy. I am excited to teach you guys about empathy, because I know it's something that comes so natural to you guys. As women and as mothers, as the nurturers in the family, I think we just naturally know how to empathize, perhaps more than others. And that is not a study, that is not a statistic, it's just a gut feeling. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling that this will resonate with you most, is how to bring empathy into your business. Because I know that you know how to bring empathy into your life and into your mothering your children and into your friendships. But bringing it into your business and your work is so important. And I'm going to share with you an example, a story of mine. And this example is where they didn't have empathy and why it would have been really great if they did. So I know I've shared a lot about my personal experiences with miscarriage, and perhaps it's because it is maybe one of the most hardest and delicate things that I've went through. And so I feel like it's when these core values are the most important. Of course, they are always important, and that is how you will get customers and buyers to come back again and again and again, is when you have these core values and you always practice these core values. When people lack that empathy, I just really think that it's evident that it's lacking or non-existent. So for me, with my experience in miscarriage, I had my first one, and then I moved to Nashville. So I'm originally from New York, moved to Nashville, had to find a new OBGYN, and I think I found her through looking to what doctors accepted my insurance. So I wasn't referred to her, I believe. So I had no idea what I was walking into, but I just knew that right now I just needed to see someone because I had had a miscarriage, and we had been trying to get pregnant again, and it wasn't happening. And I think it was somewhere around like 9 or 10 months that I went there, and I was, of course, still grieving the loss of excuse me, of our baby, but also just really wanting to get back on the horse, as they say, and wanting to be pregnant again so that we can have our baby. So I go in there with, both of these emotions, the sadness, the grief, the fear of, not knowing if it's going to happen again or if there's something wrong with me. Just all of those fears of just all of those fears. But then also at the same time, just so eager to get back to it. So the doctor had me come back to her office, not to like a client exam room, which I thought was different. Normally, anytime I've gone and seen an OBGYN, I've always gone just directly to the exam room. So anyway, we go into her office and she asks me a bunch of questions. It's very dry per se. Nothing too much of how are you doing? How are you feeling? What's the best way I can serve you kind of conversation, which is a very empathetic way of running a business and interacting with your clientele. But instead, I had more of this very cold and dry listing of questions, me just, shooting back the answers. And then ultimately she sits back in her chair and, gives me her opinion of what she thinks would be best for me, which was that I was I don't know exactly what she said, but I'm going to just summarize it in my own words, which is basically that I felt like I didn't matter, and like how I was feeling was nothing to be concerned about. That after a miscarriage, it can take several months, if not a year or even longer, to get pregnant. And who was I to come in and be concerned about that? And basically, she just said, come back to me after a year, and then we can talk about what's really going on. And so I just felt so torn and open, and like I had just like exposed everything to her, and all she had to say was like, yeah, I don't really care, come back to me when it's been past a year, because right now I have nothing to really look at here. And like I said, I was in a very delicate place, and maybe that's why it impacted me so deeply. But either way, and then she examined me, which I was so upset after what she had already said in the office, that for her to examine me, to, touch me and to, go down there, all that kind of stuff. I just felt so traumatized and violated by that whole process. And of course, I never went back there again. And I actually wrote a blog post about this because it really impacted me, the lack of empathy that she had. And I'm actually reminded of another scenario a little bit further down the road, where I started getting testing to figure out what was going wrong after I had my second miscarriage. And another doctor who lacked so much empathy, I was getting a test that it was basically they blow air into your ovaries to make sure that they blow ink. They insert ink into your ovaries, and they take a X-ray of it to make sure everything is working properly. And so here I am on the table. I'm waiting like forever before it happens. The guy comes in literally licking his teeth with like bad breath and everything like that. And so I'm thinking to myself, okay, I have been sitting half naked on this table for over half an hour waiting for this doctor to eat lunch. Okay, so look, I get it that sometimes you're so busy that you have to squeeze in a little bit of time to eat really quick. Like when I was a hairstylist, I sometimes didn't even get breaks because I was so busy. But to have somebody half naked laying on a table waiting for an exam that has to do with something that is so deeply personal and delicate. I feel like, here I'm giving you two examples of people in the medical industry that are lacking empathy, but there's many examples that go beyond the medical industry that lack this. And I'm sure maybe in your head you can think of a few examples as well. So that's what not having empathy looks like. And I'm going to give you an example of what good empathy is. And I think you'll really like this. So if you guys haven't read this book yet, Creative Confidence, I highly recommend it. I loved reading this book. It's written by two brothers, Tom Kelly and David Kelly, and they're just really inspiring. And this book is just such a helpful book for, knowing what it is you want to create, why you want to create it, and how to get there. So yeah, just really, really a great book. So there's an example in this book that I really love about empathy. Now, one thing about these guys is they have, well, I guess one of the brothers is the founder of IDEO. It's IDEO. It's a school. I think they call it a school or an academy where they train businesses and students how to implement or really to build businesses based on empathy. And so really a lot of this book, it has a really strong core of empathy in what they're doing. And so I think you'd really like that if you wanted to learn more about what that looks like. So they have this example where there in India, there are babies that are born who end up passing away because they don't get enough heat immediately after they're born. And so these are in rural areas where they're having the babies in their huts or in their homes rather than in hospitals. And so they don't know necessarily that they need to keep the baby warm in order to regulate their temperature and get them back to a regular temperature and keep them alive and sustained. And so one of the companies, I believe it's called Embrace Infant Warmer. Well, they're called the Embrace Company, and they developed something called an infant warmer. And so basically what they did is they went to India and they developed, and as a result, they ended up developing something that served these mothers, these families, in such a direct, empathetic way. So instead of them saying, okay, well, we're going to just send these, warmers and just they're going to work or, and this is how it's going to roll. Well, they ended up seeing that things weren't working as they expected. So they go to India and they watch the mothers as they use these baby warmers to figure out why are they not working? Why is the rate of infant death still high? And what they ended up finding out was that in American culture, they say they believed Western medicines were really powerful and often too strong. And so what they would do is if the doctor prescribed 1 teaspoon of medicine for her baby, she would just give them half a teaspoon instead. And so they would do this self-regulation for their children because they believed that anything that was recommended by Western medicine was just too strong. And so when they had these baby warmers, they would have instructions to make sure that the baby warmer gets up to a particular temperature. So let's say it's like 38 degrees. Or whatever it might be. I don't know exactly what the temperature was. I think they mentioned it here. But either way, so they, they have these very clear instructions. Let it get warm up until 38 degrees. Well, because they assume that it's Western medicine philosophies, they only let it get warm until about 30 degrees. So what ends up happening is the baby warmer is ineffective and still not working. And so what they did is they took the baby warmer and instead they put a baby warming device that would just light up and say that it was okay as far as the heat temperature goes, instead of having the mother have to self-regulate based, knowing that Western medicine means this to them. Instead, they would just let it warm up, and then once it was warm enough at the 38 degrees, it would click on and say it was okay. And so that is just such a great example of what empathy looks like. It's instead of, saying, oh, these baby warmers didn't work and we're just going to move on, they're really looking at the situation. They're putting themselves in the other person's shoes. They're figuring out what actually needs to be done here. They're innovating and they're creating something that actually works, that actually helps solve the problem. And so that's what empathy is all about. It's putting yourself in your audience, your clients, the people you're serving, into their shoes and analyzing the problem and figuring out an innovative solution that actually works. And sometimes you might come up with an idea and it doesn't quite work. So you got to take a look at it and really put yourself in their shoes and come up with a solution that actually works. And so I think this is really, again, something that comes natural, but also really important for us artists, because when we do art, it's so much a part of us. Like it's almost like we need it. I mean, we do need it. We need this creative, way of expressing ourselves. And so what we do is we pour ourselves out and we create this artwork, and then in turn we want to also create a sustainable and profitable business with our artwork. But there's a disconnect here, and we need to figure out what the disconnect is. So yes, of course, it is more than enough to create your own artwork for you, and it's so important to do that. In fact, my friend Kaylin was talking about this on Instagram today, that you need to create your work for you first. Absolutely. But you also need to think about the work that you are going to create for your community if you want to make money doing what you love. Because when you want to make money doing what you love, you have to know how to serve your community. And if you don't know, if you create artwork and it ends up selling, then that's really basing a lot of it on, luck, that they just end up really loving and resonating with your work. Somehow the emotion has really connected with them. And you know what? There is some artwork that really does that you can look at a piece of artwork and it'll pull you in and you just feel like you can't live without that piece of artwork. But typically what happens is when you're serving your community, you create something for them that solves a problem for them. So if you want to create artwork that solves a problem for your community, then you need to know what the problem is that your community has, and then create artwork around that. And so just one example, a lot of 20, 30-year-olds buy new houses and have zero artwork to hang up on the walls. So there's a problem. They don't have any art. Okay, so who's going to solve that problem for them? And a lot of artists have realized that that is a problem that they can solve. They're going to create artwork for these 20, 30-year-olds who have moved into a home for the first time and don't have artwork. And so they will approach interior designers, and pitch their artwork to these interior designers and real estate agents. Well, no, I'm sorry, interior designers, because the interior designers will go into the house and help them decorate and things like that. And then they recommend other art that goes with it. And so I can think of like a billion ideas. There's so many approaches that you can take, and they're all so personal to you, your time, what you want to do, how you want to do it, why you do it. And so, really knowing all of those things is so important in discovering what it is you want to create and why you want to create it and what your audience wants and how you can serve them. So, I hope that resonates with you guys. Actually, I know it will resonate with you guys, because it resonates with me when I was painting as well. So I think that is everything as far as empathy goes, and I'll just leave, a takeaway for you guys to kind of work on, and that is to go out there, reach out to your community, reach out to your audience, and ask them what it is they're struggling with. So on Instagram, they have that on the Instagram stories, you can do the polling, Polling, where you can ask people questions or you can ask yes or no's or that kind of thing. So that's just one step that gets you closer to knowing who your audience is and what it is they want. And so I'm going to leave you with that assignment to work on today and just get a little more familiar at how you can weave in empathy into what you're doing and how that'll help you to have a more successful business and to turn your passions into profits. So that covers it for today and for our mini trainings all about passion to profit. And I'm excited to share with you guys about my masterclass. So this masterclass is basically a continuation of everything you've learned today, but we go so much deeper. We cover we've covered core values the last 4 days and so much more about those core values and what that looks like. And in this masterclass, we are going to dive really deep into what that actually looks like and how you can create a roadmap that informs you of what you need to do today, what you need to do tomorrow, what you need to do a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, so that you are working towards the very clear goals that you've identified. You're taking the steps so that you're here, you want to be there, and you know exactly what you need to do in order to get there. You feel equipped, ready, and confident because you have all of these steps, all of these ideas, all of these things that you can start doing knowing that you're working towards those big goals that you've set. And so a few examples of what that looks like. So you guys have heard me say, passion to profit is all about creating a sustainable, meaningful, and profitable business. And so I put those words in there very intentionally because I have been in the shoes of creating a business that isn't very sustainable, and at times, sometimes I've lost the meaning in the business that I was doing, and so it's really important for me in my own business to know that it is sustainable, profitable, and meaningful. And so I'm going to help you guys do that with this masterclass. I'm going to help you choose the right strategies, tools, exercises, and steps that allow you to create a sustainable schedule, a sustainable routine, and for you to identify what it really means to sell your work and to create something to serve your community and why it means so much and how to articulate that online and on your website, on Instagram. I have some notes here which I'm going to read from so that I'm really clear as to what this class provides for you guys, because I know that you're going to be, considering if it's the right fit for you. So, well, first, I'll just say that it's the right fit for you if you feel like you're here and you want to get there and you don't know exactly how. You want to turn your passions to profits and you don't know exactly how to get there. And so this class is for you if you are there. If you are an artist, a designer, a creator, a maker, more specifically a woman, a mother, somebody who has a side hustle, who maybe has a day job and you're trying to make the side business more profitable so you can quit your day job. I have been there and I can really walk you through that whole process. And so I wanted to go a little deeper as far as what sustainable, meaningful, and profitable means to me as far as this class goes. And so with sustainability, it means creating systems, habits, and routines, creating work that fills you up more than it drains you. And so I can give you, so many examples of where I have done that in my own work, where I was emptying more than I was filling. And, we just can't do that, because then we end up feeling stuck and overwhelmed and then we feel like we want to give up. And so if you're doing something that fills you up, choosing the right work that fills you up. So for example, Maybe you are creating paintings for these couples who, you know, move to a new house, and you're pitching them to interior designers, because those are the people, and realtors, those are the people who are interacting with those younger first home buyers. And you know, so that takes out some of your energy, but it also fills you up in some ways. So maybe on the other end, you're creating work just for you. So you're creating a painting over here that's just for you. Maybe you're going to hang it up in your house somewhere. Those things matter because this fills you up more. It overflows your cup because you're doing it just for you. And over here, you're doing something for someone else. And, you know, I will say that me doing this for you actually fills my cup. It doesn't empty my cup. But there are some things that empty my cup in the 10, 20 steps that it takes to offer this. So recording this video does not empty my cup. It fills my cup. But some of the steps do empty my cup, like taking the notes, like setting up the, you know, the online part of all of this, the technical issues that I've had to deal with. Those drain me. But there's other things that fill me up. Some things like preparing for a retreat empties me, but doing the actual retreat, being there and teaching and influencing and leading those women fills me up, overflows my cup. And so it's learning how to develop a system, an array of things that you are making sure that you're filling your cup and empty your cup, and it's always a, you know, counterbalance of making sure that this is always full and it's never empty. Okay, so that's what sustainability means to me as far as business goes, and these will apply it for your life as well. As far as a meaningful business, that means knowing why you're doing it. So yesterday I was feeling so deeply grateful for the work that I'm doing, these videos that I'm sharing with you, because I know how long I've procrastinated about this. And I also have received a lot of feedback from you guys about how much these videos have impacted you. And so that is so meaningful for me. And so if you think about any offerings that you want to put out there for people to purchase, you know, some people are, okay, so if you're looking at me and you're like, oh, maybe I would want to do online classes or something like that. Well, I think that is a great idea. But first, does it mean something to you? You know, so making the choices that are actually aligned with why you do what you do is how you create a meaningful business. And also, what's also meaningful is the community that you build and the feedback that you get. So making lasting connections and building a community that loves and supports you. I am so fortunate to have you guys here, to be watching these videos, to be taking the time to send me a message and send me an email. I mean, I am humbled that you guys take the time to do that, because I'm just me. I'm just a girl that sits here and records herself talking, hoping that you guys, hoping that this inspires you, and you guys take the time to let me know how it has impacted you. And I just feel so grateful that you do that, and that we are coming together as a community. And so I'm going to help you do that for yourself, for your own community, for your own audience, because that is I think that's part of why we're here, is to connect with people. And so there is nothing wrong with having a strong, healthy, loving, meaningful community online. It's also wonderful to have one offline, and I can help you do that too. For me, I taught a ton in Nashville, and I have developed a community that I love, and we get together every so often and have like a girls' night and get together for dinner. And I've even done monthly gatherings at my house where we do bonfires and talk about the things that we're going to let go of. And I haven't done that since I've had kids, but we were doing it every month for, I feel like even a year. And that inspired me to start doing the retreats. And and just having that kind of support and encouragement and love from like-minded women is, I mean, one of the most meaningful things that comes out of what I do. And I really look forward to teaching you how to do that as well. And so as far as profitable goes, well, this is all about money and serving your audience and how to market what it is that you create, how to clearly identify how much money you want to make. And I know that money is one of those words that can sometimes trigger people, but money is just energy. Money is just an exchange of energy. So, if you create this painting and you want to make a certain amount of money from that painting, there's no shame in asking for that. It's just you exchanging energy with someone else's energy. So somebody else giving you $1,000 for a painting is them saying, hey, I just worked however many hours to make $1,000 so I can pay you for this painting. Here you go. And you say, thank you, because I just spent this many hours painting this painting. And it's just an exchange of energy. All it is a piece of paper. It's, to me, that's how money has always felt. It's never felt like a weird thing. And I'm going to teach you how to think abundantly and think clearly about money so that we can get over that hump of feeling like money is a weird thing to talk about or a weird thing to want, because really all you want is to just have a life on your own terms, to have options so you can grow a little more and help contribute to your house a little more, and to do more of what you love. That's really all we're doing, and what profitability means to me. And lastly, like I said, this is me helping you to create that roadmap, because sometimes we just need someone from the outside looking in, guiding us to build that map. So, we can be stuck here, we can be here and not know how to get over here because we're too close. It's too much for us to see way over here. But somebody from the outside, and someone who has the experience, someone who can see a little bit more, can really help you to map that out. And so what I'm going to do is help you do that through all of the steps that I shared with you today, and just diving even more into everything else that we've spoken about. So, all right, well, that is everything. And I, again, just want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for everything that you guys have said and emailed me. And I just, if anything else, that is just, such a wonderful gift out of all of this. And I hope that you guys love everything that I have taught here. And I hope that you guys join me for the masterclass. And I'm going to share all of the details of what that looks like on the link that I share with you guys today. And I guess I should share with you guys just the really quick, like the nitty-gritty details, which is it's next Saturday. So let's see, today is November 30th. It'd be next Saturday, December, I think it's 8th. Let me just pull up the calendar. And it will be at 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. So it'll be a 3-hour intensive course. I'm sorry, let's call it a class, because a course definitely has a different meaning. It is a 3-hour class. We'll have a break in the middle, and it'll be a live event. So when you come and you join the class, you'll be able to see me on the screen. I'll be, it'll be a live recording. What's really fun about having these live recordings is that there is a messaging board that's live, and so all the students, yourself included, can ask questions, connect with the other students. It's really a fun event when it's live, because you're not just watching me pre-record videos like right now. We're actually live and we're able to interact more. So that's what's really fun about having a live event. Maybe you're thinking, well, what if I can't make the event? What if, I have something until 11? You can join at any time. So at, the class is 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. And so if you can't make it at that time, it's okay, because you will get a link to access the recording of the video. So you can register today. Today registration opens. and you can register now and still access the video once it has gone live. So if, like I said, if the video is live from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you can't make that time, maybe you're in a different country, maybe you have plans, whatever it might be, you will get a link so you can, watch it as many times as you want, and you'll have access to the replay link, the replay video, for 6 months. And possibly even a year, but definitely for 6 months. And so if you guys feel like you still need a little bit of time, then just let me know. And let's see, I'm just trying to think of the other details. So it takes place on something called Webinar Jam. You don't need to know any of the details about that. It just basically looks like a video like this, except that we're live, and there's a little comment box where everybody can interact. And you can show up looking however you want, because your face won't be shown. It'll just be my face. So you can be in your PJs, you can be, at a coffee shop, whatever. It doesn't matter. The only video you'll see is of me, and then the rest will be just a text comment kind of stream going on. And the day before the live event begins, you'll get a link so that you can sign in and have everything all set and ready to go. And you'll get a reminder right before the class begins to join and, come and make sure that you're here. And again, if you can't make it, it's okay. You'll still get the link to be able to play it whenever is most convenient for you. And so just to confirm the date, I was wrong. It's not, oh no, wait, let's see. Let's get the calendar. Nope, I'm right. Okay, so it's December 8th, and it's 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So that's next Saturday. And we'll be right here, and we're going to have a bunch of stuff to dive into, and I know you're going to love it because you guys are passionate, and I know that you guys want to turn those passions into profit, and I can help you do that. So all of the other details, all the other questions that you might have, I hope to answer all of them on the link that I share with you. And if you still have any questions or concerns, you can just shoot me an email or a direct message. And I think that's about it. So, all right. Well, I hope that you guys have liked this series, and I hope that you join me for the masterclass next Saturday, because I think you're going to love it. It was made just for you. And again, I really appreciate all the support and love, and I'm just grateful that we've been able to do this together. Okay, have a good day. Bye-bye.